I am excited, man. In fact, this is the first company that I realized that you can get 100x leverage on gold, silver, any precious metal.
Traders love volatility, and anything that moves they want to trade. That's it. So we really want to make sure our exchange is capable of listing anything that moves in the world.
We got over $1 billion in monthly volume for the platform.
If we see more people asking about something, our engineering team will not hesitate to build that for them.
GM, and welcome to Soul Brothers, where we today have a special guest that will join us today for a special episode together with FlashTrade. But before we bring him on, GM Eno, how are you doing, my friend? Are you ready for this?
I'm doing fucking fantastic, man. We got a good show. We have a fantastic guest. We have a whole new sponsor lineup. And man, oh man, this is going to be a doozy. Can't wait to get him on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, FlashTrade has been is a really interesting protocol to follow, honestly, on Solana. They have a really unique story, a unique background compared to other companies on Solana. Have heard about the project almost 2 years ago by now. We're like 1.5 years ago, I would say, and have been a fan ever since, honestly. And definitely by far the largest volume for myself on FlashTrade compared to other perp dexes on Solana, I have to admit, over the time. And they have some really interesting technological setups as well that make them distinguish themselves from other perp dexes. So lots to unpack, lots to uncover really in this episode, And I'm pretty sure you are as excited as myself to have them join not only this interview, but also Soul Brothers as a strategic partner going forward. So we will be talking about FlashTrade much more going forward and making content about Flash much more going forward. Are you happy about this? Are you excited?
I am fucking excited, man. In fact, this is the first company that I realized that you can get 100x leverage on gold, silver, any precious metal. I mean, you and I actually found out about them around the same time, but obviously you have been much more involved with their community than I have. But we both met this founder in Dubai, and so it is our great pleasure to bring onto the stage our very good friend, Anas, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me, guys.
Are
And
you used to this much shouting in the morning?
Not much, but I just had a baby, so I have shouting at night. So
I see. Well, congratulations on the kid. That's great.
yep.
Awesome,
man. But before we dive right into this, I promised that I would do this. Boom! You have had an absolutely blockbuster month. This is simply, by the way, guys, this is not quarterly stats we're talking about, right? These numbers that we're talking about are straight from this month, just like the last 4 weeks. We're in September right now, but you're looking right back over in August, and we got over $1 billion in monthly volume for the platform. Also, you can probably tell if you've been paying attention to the FlashTrade branding that they have a completely new, sexy look. And a TVL has increased by over 7 million. Fees paid out. Jesus Christ, like about $500,000, which is paid over to liquidity providers. Total fees earned in USDC, that's over 600, just about 600K. You have over almost about 700 million FAF staked to the protocol. So I mean, you guys are also the only team that I'm aware of that does not have a team allocation, especially for such a major protocol. And you're doing it all through Futarchy. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. Simon, I don't want to hog the spotlight too much. I just wanted to point out that in August, FlashTrade had a fucking blockbuster month. And it's really interesting how sometimes you have protocols that are doing extremely well, and they're not so good at publicizing it. So in us, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk shit on our first podcast together, but I mean, you can agree it's been a phenomenal month for you folks, yeah?
For sure. And I think the most interesting thing is about the earning fee share for the FAF stakers, and it has been increasing month on month.
Yeah.
And you can actually see there's like protocol revenue, which was about $150,000, half of which goes to the stakers. So not only people, the people who are providing liquidity are earning money. People who are staking their FAF are also earning a lot of money from just by protocol fees that has been generated. So yeah, it has been a blockbuster month for all of us here at Flash.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in there because I think that is actually that is not only great content for this live stream, that is great content for all social media channels right now. This topic, we need to make a really good small little section about the revenue share right now, because I think it's super exciting and people don't know a lot about it. So Anas, I want you to give us like a really simple explanation, like you're talking to your mom, trying to explain her what the fuck you're doing in this world, and tell her how does this actually work with owning a part of the company with FAF, right? Essentially, like being a shareholder or a stakeholder in the company, and then benefiting from the revenues that this protocol actually generates, and why this is so exciting. Because I think this is one of the most direct value accrual models you can experience in the modern world. Really,
Yes.
this kind of. So
Yes.
explain to us, like in just in simple terms, without going into details.
Yes, yes. Basically, this is a promise of internet capital markets where we are allowing people to basically earn their part of revenue if they are buying, tokens into any of the capital markets that are available on the internet, and we are giving them their share of revenue if they are holding that much amount of, company share. And this basically allows anyone to participate on the new financial products that are being built on the web 3 world that we are building right now. So that's what I would say. And if I were to say to my mom, say, if you want to own a part of company, you should get some money for your exposure, and that's what you get at Flash when you hold FAF.
Mm-hmm.
You get about 50% of all the money that is being generated by the Flash's revenue generating products.
Right. Okay. So before I hand over the mic to Eno for to kind of go step back again and talk a little bit more about US Solanas and maybe the history of Flash, but for that topic again, I think so. 50%. That's something we want to clarify. 50% of the protocol revenues being generated go directly to FAF holders if they decide to stake the token on the platform, meaning they have to lock it, right? They have to put it in a staking contract. Basically, it flows out of your wallet, of your ownership into a smart contract. Something to highlight here. So you're accepting, that kind of smart contract risk to an extent. There's always some sort of flip side to everything we do here in crypto that people should be aware of. But you get a revenue share for the tokens you hold, plus a potential value accrual of the shares if you believe in the future of the company. So I think those are the two big benefits that you actually get. You can hold the token and wait for better times as you believe that the company grows. So the token value goes up because more people want the token. And secondly, you get constant revenue share. And you can clarify this, but I think it's so constant that it happens every couple hours, isn't it?
Yeah, basically every 6 hours. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's I don't think people talk about that enough, and I'm not aware of any protocol that gives their revenue or distributes the revenue in such a direct way, specifically to stakers, right? Like, I mean, buyback and burn for sure. You see that everywhere, right?
Mhm.
But like, what other protocols are you aware of where you stake and only stakers are entitled to get that revenue?
There's a few. The one, probably the one with the most mind share right now is Tuna, I guess. But
Tuna, yeah,
it's
sure, fair enough. Yeah. Right.
there's a few that are trying it out, but it is definitely not not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it I think it best aligns the incentives, and I'm assuming that's what you were going for over at Flash Trade, right? Was trying to somehow find some sort of incentive alignment between people who have bought the token as well as like the team and the revenue that they generate and who they want to
It's,
reward.
see, the way we have built it is like, basically I asked myself, why would I hold FAF?
Mhm.
And that was the answer. Like, basically, if I were holding a token and I don't get money to hold it, why would I hold it? I need some sort of intermediate thing while the token price action is basically catching up by the team shipping things. And this is
Mm.
how basically we designed that. Why would I hold, by asking ourselves, why would we hold FAF? And that
Mhm.
was the answer. And the most interesting thing about sharing revenue in USDC is like, you get your stakers to come to the platform again and again, which creates this loop of them checking out the platform of where
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
the that
True.
sticky experience is very, very epic, because what we have
Mm.
seen is like, all of our stakers, they come into the feedback channel in Discord and they share their feedback, because just because when they were claiming their rewards, they did check out Flash where their company is. So that is how that stickiness is created when you are distributing fees in USDC versus by doing the buyback and burn thing. because when you're doing buyback and burn, people don't actually use the product and they don't have any clue what the product or where the product is, because there are so many things happening in crypto. But when there is an option for you to go and collect your daily USDC money, you go and check out the platform, and that's when you know what the platform is at. And if you are more interested into getting more money, you would come back and say, this is how we can increase the revenue share by doing this feature tweaks. So this basically creates very interesting flywheel effect, if I want to add.
Anas, have you ever heard about that little UI UX trick where on the back end you might have actually completed the operations and the call has already been returned, but you still show a loading bar because
Yep.
it's somehow the additional effort of waiting for the thing makes it feel more valuable, even though it makes no fucking difference, right? I mean, like the API endpoint is already returned, but to the user, it actually that extra 2 to 3 seconds of friction that you add, it creates more value. And I almost feel like that's the same with buyback and burn versus having a claiming UI that's very slick. And Meteora, I also think, does this very, very well, but it keeps people coming back. I mean, Meteora for different reasons because you have to actively manage your LP. But there is something, and I saw a Xiong tweet on this. There's something therapeutic about watching the fees accrue and then pressing the claim button. There's something about it that's addictive, and I don't. It's definitely not a dark pattern, but it's something that just makes you want to come back and check. This human need to check.
It also helps you to get money, right? Like, I have one of the biggest shares of FAF, and it basically pays like rent money for me, to be honest. Like, I get like $150. It helps us in the long run, and if the exchange blows up, you'll end up making more money by your stake rather than anything else. So that is how we have designed, like making sure that we, as just putting ourselves in the shoes of a holder and seeing how best we can give them the revenue or waste for them to hold FAF, rather than them to put towards just short-term speculation. What we see with meme coins, it's like pump and dump, that's it. So
Yeah.
we are here to
But
create long-term things.
I feel like I need to get new merch though, because like my
Oh my
flash
god.
trade, it's not
Logo.
updated anymore. I gotta change it. This is now legacy merch, my friend. I have to get
Yeah,
the new
yeah,
flash
yeah.
trade keychain.
Here, same here, +1, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm also lacking some updated brands. How did the redesign go, and how was it taken from everyone on us? Now it's been a week, I think, ish. What has been the feedback so far from rebranding to a new brand here?
Yeah, the most interesting thing is, flash trade as it is, the logo was made by me. It was a very rough scribble when I had zero clue of how Figma worked, to be honest. And I just put
Yeah,
in some shades over it and we used it. When you are building a company, there are so many things that you have to do. You can't put that much effort into logo and
yeah,
branding and all that
I
stuff.
agree.
So eventually, I just pinged Sardak a month ago that I think we might do it. We might have to get rid of the Flash logo and do something. And he was like, why are you asking this now? I was like, I saw it in a dream that we need to do a redo of our branding. And like, okay, let's do it. And
Destiny.
initially, Sardak was kind of the lead, creative head at Flash, was kind of
Yeah,
skeptic with the Formula One theme, and he was like, we don't know how users would take it up, but we are very happy that everyone who saw this thing was like very happy about the rebrand, and everyone took it very well. And that's what
yeah.
the ethos is at Flash as well. Like, what we are building at Flash is basically a Formula One engine, which is the margin engine, which basically supports trading at
Mm,
500x leverage for everyone. And
okay.
we are like pit crew members who basically, keep upgrading the engine, the tires, every lap,
Mm,
and the laps are
mm.
never gonna stop.
I like
Look,
that.
so I gotta interrupt this interview real quick because I want to bring it all the way back to basics. I mean, how the fuck do we know each other? I mean, we're just like three dudes randomly talking in Australia, Korea, and then where are you at us?
Right now in India.
Dubai.
Exactly.
Oh, no way.
He's in India right now, but we all met in exactly the city that Enos. Where did we all meet for the first time?
Bye.
Dubai, right? So you want to tell us a little
As
bit more
always.
about how we met? Like, what's the context there?
I think it was around the founders villa or the
Yep.
founders trek actually,
Yep.
where we actually met. And shout out to Alex, who's leading Super Team Dubai and doing very great initiatives, which has made sure people around the world working on the crypto sphere are able to connect in Dubai. And shout out to the government at Dubai, who's creating these interesting opportunities for entrepreneurs like us can come in the city and have the best vibes possible.
Yeah, I actually consider ourselves to be like, and I hope this doesn't sound a little too, like I'm patting myself on the back too much here, but like we're like the first wave of startup villages ever. Like now you
Yeah.
see startup villages all around the world, and they've rebranded to Startup Village, but really the original Startup Village was Founders Trek, and then Founders Trek followed by Startup, God damn it, Founders Villa, right? And
Yep,
so it was like
that's it.
Founders Trek became Founders Villa, which was kind of like the godfather or the godmother of all these other Solana events that you see around the world, except with the exception of probably Mountain DAO. Mountain DAO might be considered one of these original kind of like prototypes for the kind of group bonding sessions that we see around the world now. But Island DAO, all these startup villages throughout Asia, the startup villages in Europe, I mean, it all really starts in Dubai. And like I'd go so far as to say that original cohort was pretty sticky. Like I think
Yep,
all of us are still in pretty close contact with each other. It's interesting to see how
true.
Flash Trade has evolved since then. And I mean, if Simon, if
Mm-hmm.
you remember the Flash meta at the time were the Flash
Mm-hmm.
Beasts, which gave
Yep.
you like Flash was really like I found Flash to be really interesting at the time for two reasons. Number one was the gold trading for sure. I was like, wait, what the fuck? They have gold perps? I didn't even realize that was a thing on Solana.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing was
Mm-hmm.
everything they did with Flash Beasts, which was super
NFTs.
unique because it was an NFT that
Yep.
like actually had utility within the context of a DeFi platform. It was like the first of its kind that I was aware of. So I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I remember Flash Trade, being at that time. Like Simon, what are your earliest memories of Flash Trade over in Dubai?
My earliest memories of FlashTrade was Anas hosting a fucking sick party or something, like a gathering in the Founders Villa, sponsored by FlashTrade. And that was really sick. And then B, fucking Klaus, one of the OG FlashTrade community members. I don't see him around right now anymore. I don't know what the man is doing. You probably know Anas, but this guy was like one of the biggest supporters. He must have made a lot of money, I'm pretty sure, with FlashTrade so far, because he had like a fuckload of beasts. And those beasts, Anas, what happened to them until today? Like, just run us through what happened to Flash Beasts and why was it a good idea to hold them and level them up?
Yep, I think a lot of people leveled up, and a lot of people actually made through this campaign where we used to allow people to become, beast of the week. Where if they did good
Yep.
stuff or the protocol, we basically directed
I
all
remember.
the people who were coming onto FlashTrade's website as their referred users, and through
Yeah.
that, system, a lot of people who became beast of the week on an average made up something about $10,000 to $20,000, and there was one beast who made more than $70,000 just from referral income. And to be honest, when you are running like in the exchange business, majority of the money is made from the ref fees for people who bring on more users. So yeah, most of the I'm sure Klaus is also. I think I do remember checking out his address. I think he made something around 25 to $30,000 from ref fees.
Mm. Yeah. That's pretty insane. So, at this stage, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, please check the show notes or wherever you're watching this and look for a referral link, because there might be one for Soul Brothers, and you can use that link to trade up to 500x on Flash Trade and make a shitload or lose a shitload of money. That's up to you, not in our hands, but you can use Flash Trade and play around. Ref code somewhere here. We still need to get that link, by the way, Anas. Anyway, I think Flash went through a lot of iterations and updates as well. And one of the most exciting things right now that I see the community talk about is Margin Engine V2. And I want you to just don't explain us what it is and how it works, because I think it might go too far for this interview today. But tell us why it's exciting and what does it do for me as a trader and as a user or as an LP or as a holder, whatever.
Basically, it would allow you to trade any asset on chain with the maximum leverage possible. That's it. Because we've
That's
been
insane.
getting so many requests for people. Someone said they wanted to trade Palladium. Someone said they wanted to trade some shitcoin, some assets, some stock. So we really wanted to make sure the engine that we our building is capable of basically allowing people to trade anything that comes live in the world, and that is what Margin Engine V2 gonna upgrade things to, and allow
That's great.
anyone to trade anything at the max leverage possible on Flash.
Did you say
Okay, and
palladium?
why is it? Sorry,
Palladium.
go ahead.
Like
Eno.
like the metal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
anything,
Sorry.
anything.
I was like, is that? I was like, is that a new token? What is that?
Yeah, you can like just any commodity. That's internet capital markets, right? That's ICM. That's what we here for to an extent.
Yeah.
Most of us at least.
What we have seen is traders love volatility, and anything that moves they want to trade. That's it. So we really want to make sure our exchange is capable of listing anything that moves in the world.
That's great. That makes a lot of sense with leverage, and that's actually something that makes you stand out in the ecosystem because there's not a lot of perp dexes on Solana where you can actually trade as many perps right now already than on FlashTrade. I don't even know if there's one, but you have definitely listed a lot, including commodities and even forex. I think to this point, and then I said earlier 500x, and that was not a joke, by the way. It is not my favorite mode, BM. Thanks for the comment here, but technically you can do that because Flash shipped a new feature, I think 1-2 months ago, the Degen mode, which is the perfect name for that thing, because that's literally what you're doing. You're behaving like a total degenerate because you're putting leverage as high as 500x. So that means it's pretty insane. Like you can put in $100 and have a huge trade with $100. Obviously, the liquidation levels are extremely tight if you do that, if you decide to do it. Why did you guys ship that? Because it is definitely it's an experimental thing. Like I've never seen that anymore before. to say it in the best words I can use.
Yeah,
But why did you ship it?
yeah, it's basically to stress test things and make sure we are reaching, covering all the limits possible. It's the same thing that happened with Solana. Like a lot of people give shit about Solana that we have so many meme coins coming out which have zero utility, but these meme coins stress the hell out of
Yep.
Solana. The tokens, we see
Yeah.
daily tokens, about 40,000 tokens that launch, 60,000 tokens, and the whole infrastructure, the RPC infrastructure, the backend, the UIs, everyone, people have to make sure they are capable of serving that traffic, because tomorrow when we are serving more than trillions dollars in volume, we have to be capable of doing this sort of stuff. So today,
Mm,
in order to stress test things and make sure what things we are able to serve at max, we basically try to serve them as best as possible, and that in that direction we served 500x leverage. And it's actually, if you ask anyone who's building margin engines, they will say how hard it is to serve these things fully on chain, because you have to run these bots and the pricing engine and the risk engine flawlessly. Basically, we have bots that land transactions every slot, which is like every 400 millisecond there is something happening on Flash, every single day, no Sunday, no Saturday, and we have to keep things up irrespective of weekends or weekdays or sick days. So that's what we love, like building such
mm,
margin engines which are very similar to racing in Formula One. So yeah, that's
yeah.
why 5 average.
But the perps as well as FAF staking are not the only ways to make some buku bucks over on Flash Trade. I think another thing that's really interesting is looking at the fucking yield on FLP, which is insane. So if you go to Loop Scale, and for people who have been living under a rock, Loop Scale offers you multiply solutions for particular tokens, right? So you can get leveraged up exposure, which depending on the context, can be dangerous. But I'd love for you to talk more about these insane APYs. The max APY, at least for the month of August, we're looking at bro 270% APY on the crypto FLP1. It seems that there are multiple FLP tokens, right? So there's one for ETH, there's one for Bonk, there's one for Sol. So you want to walk people a little bit through FLP, as well as what are some of the benefits and the risks of running a leveraged play on FLP?
Basically, yeah, sure. Basically, FLP is like the market making vaults for Flash, which backs all that perpetual trading that happens on Flash every single time. And in the direction of internet capital markets, we democratize market making for all. Basically, you can participate with our market maker and get the same yield as we are getting on Flash. And this token basically represents your share in that market making world, and all the fees that is generated to the market making activities is given back, and that is the reason why you see the higher APYs. It's because of the fees that the protocol is serving through the market making activities. And I'm sure people have heard about prop AMMs, which like Humidify, Solfi, which all backs the spot trading of Solana on Solana right now. And they are doing like more than, I think it's something around $4 to $5 billion every day. And in that similar direction, FLP pools also work in that same way, where they are all Oracle based and they don't require huge sums of liquidity. They are very capital efficient. And due to this capital efficiency, you see this higher APYs because they're able to market make at such rapid pace. And thanks to the speed of Solana, we are able to make sure we are able to offer the best code possible at the fastest speed. And when you want to get more yield out of your base yield that you get from FLP1, you go to the platforms like Loopscale and soon Camino, where you can basically get a leverage on it. And on Loopscale, they offer up to 6.7x leverage at max, which gives you this ridiculous amount of triple digit APYs of about 260%. And the risk on the looping is basically two risks. One is the price action risk. Basically, if the underlying assets, which is Bitcoin, Solana, or Ethereum, drop more than 40% or 30%, you are at risk of liquidation. Basically, you will lose the underlying asset when looping at max leverage. And the second thing is, all as always, the smart contract risks and the Oracle risks, which both the teams, Loopscale and FlashTrade, have been working very closely to make sure things are as safe as possible. So yeah, in terms of auditing, I just want to highlight. I think Loopscale has done like 4 audits in the past 6 months or so, and FlashTrade has done about 3 audits since we have been gone live. And also, we have also done one of a kind economic audit, where we basically built this whole engine in Python and ran simulations to make sure how the pool reacts when the flash crash happens. So basically, we simulated when the Luna crash happened, when the FTX crash happened, and when the Solana pumped from $9 to $22. So a lot of engineering goes behind the scenes to make these sexy APYs come on screens, to be honest. So I just wanted to highlight that. Sorry for taking a lot of time, but
No,
yeah.
no, 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 no. I think it's good when people explain where the yield comes from, because
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you see meme
Okay.
numbers like this, and the first reaction for most people like, "Ha, cute scam."
Yeah.
So it's important to talk about all the work that you've done for Oracle's in partnership with Loopscale. Like, obviously, any leveraged position comes with risk, so like this
Yeah.
should not be a surprise to anybody. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about, man, I really should not be talking about how safe a product is, because we've seen it with JOP. I mean, any product that has Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana as underlying is going to have some level of volatility, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, I mean, not a horrible place to park your money, especially if you don't go on max leverage.
Yeah, and even even keeping your money on FlashTrade in FLP natively without looping it, you're still getting 10x what your bank is offering you, right? Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And there's no liquidation risk on Flash, right? Like you might, like if the underlying assets go down in value, you keep making money, passive income basically from the fees, but sure, your position might be underwater, but as opposed to loop scale, you're not going to get wiped out. You can wait it out, right? And until prices are up again.
To be honest, the way I used to talk with the initial users is FLP1 is like an index of crypto assets. So if you are long on Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum, and it's the best asset to hold if you want to long these
It
assets.
is, yeah.
Basically, hold on spot, because even if you check the like year to date performance of FLP1 versus Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, FLP1 as an index has basically beat both the Bitcoin,
Mhm.
Solana, and Ethereum in terms of price action.
Yep.
So that's the power of market making, to be honest. Like because of market making activities, FLP has able to get that much amount of fees, and that's how it grows.
Mhm. Strong. Not bad. There's a lot to unpack when it comes to FlashTrade. For today, we didn't want to go into the depth of everything. We wanted to cover a high level of things. Do you feel like something essential is missing for today's interview with Anas for people that want to
there's
get
a
a
lot of
basic
things
understanding?
missing. Oh man, too many things missing, man. It's like, okay, so you guys historically, I know we want to time box this, but I got more questions than we got time, so so I'm just gonna lean into my questions. How many co-founders are there over at FlashTrade?
It's basically a team of 5 core members, and we all go back like since school days, like 4 members. So yeah, 5 co-founders.
That's actually exactly the same as Sanctum. Sanctum also has the 5 co-founder problem, which
Oh
it's not a
wow!
problem, but it's a lot of people. A lot of
No,
voices in the room.
you need a strong set of shoulders when you are building something as huge as a big mountain, and then like people need to trust each other. So that's the crux of building empires. You need strong set of shoulders.
Okay, and like, is that what you're trying to do over at FlashTrade? Is to build an empire?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so then where does the empire bridge out from here then? I mean, you got the perps, right? And then you obviously have released your token. You have liquidity provision to, like, what else is next?
It's all about scaling and offering products that users want. And it's just, we already have swaps that is powered by Jupiter. And to be honest, if we see more people asking about something, our engineering team will not hesitate to build that for them. And that the idea at Flash, because we are a fully bootstrap team, we focus on revenue generating products. So whatever makes revenue for the company is the priority number one for us at Flash. And that has been the goal since we've started. And that is how the direction for building this company into a huge behemoth is.
I think what that's a really key thing that most people don't know is that you guys are 100% bootstrapped, meaning that you've taken no investor capital.
No investor capital. And the story is very interesting. I don't want to go get into it, but yeah, basically we put our own money, and we knew building an exchange that has frictionless experience would give a lot of revenue, and that is what has panned out and is going to be panning out, because the idea is to basically allow anything that moves to be traded on Flash. Because users, I, even me as a trader, I love when things move, and I would love to trade them at at the best possible leverage. So from my experience, and to be honest, I say myself that I need to be the power user of my platform. Until unless I, as a founder, I'm not a power user of my platform, I don't know what I'm building. So when you are building something, you need to be the power user of that thing. Then only you can ship the right things for that product.
So you're saying you just built FlashTrade for yourself? I'm
To be
kidding. I'm
honest,
kidding. I'm kidding.
yeah,
I mean, there's truth in it.
yeah. Because I saw there was not we needed something like that. We needed a place where you can trade on leverage with zero slippage, any asset possible, any
Yeah,
asset there
yeah,
is
that's
out there.
true.
So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually true. Like if I want to leverage gold right now, I wouldn't know what to do without FlashTrade. Like I don't know how it works in TradFi anymore. I forgot I don't have an account anywhere. Like so on Flash I can.
So let me just ask one last question before we go. And like, how do we position Flash perhaps as like the hyper liquid of Solana? Is that how wide you want your coverage to go? Because most people, when they think about like trade any asset, multi-chain, doesn't fucking matter. Like, you don't even have to think about if the asset is listed. You think hyper liquid every single fucking time. That's what you think, right?
It's
So
just been in it's just been in years since we have started listening about Hyperliquid. To be honest, even if you ask the founder of Hyperliquid, their goal is not to be the next Binance, and even our goal, it's not to be the next Hyperliquid. It's to be an exchange. An exchange is a place where people can trade anything at the best possible experience, and that is the idea, irrespective of any boundaries. Or the most interesting thing about the technology right now in the blockchain sector is we can see basically the possibility of offering experiences that are better than centralized exchanges at the better fees and at a better revenue generating systems. So the idea at Flash is to be the place where users are treated as best as possible with no differences between them. If you want to come, you want to provide liquidity and earn money, you can do that. If you want to get rev share, you can buy FAF and do that. If you want to trade, you can come and trade through the trading terminal. And the idea is to basically be the best to offer these, irrespective of whatever the topmost exchanges right now. It is replaceable. Things change, things grow, and there will never be one winner in this field. And you can already see that in the centralized exchanges sphere, where although we have Binance, we also have Coinbase, we also have KuCoin, we have Upbit, we have Bybit.
Lots of them.
So
Yeah.
you have a lot of exchanges, and according to their experiences and user experiences, people will stick with them. So we will see that same thing happening in decentralized world, but I think the scale and volume would be much bigger than what we are seeing currently with the centralized exchanges, because the technological barriers like the barriers that we are breaking will allow us to offer much better experiences, which what these guys are offering right now. So very bullish on the future of finance on chain.
Well said. Thanks for closing that out, Anas. And we also have a question from our very good friend BM, who I think you know is when stocks.
Yep. I've been working on it. The idea is we want to offer 24 by 5 markets. We don't want the stock markets to just offer for 8 hours, which is the US open and US close of CME or CBOE. We wanted to
Damn,
offer
that's
a
long.
full 24 hours experience, and that is what we are working on. And we are trying to get price feeds for aftermarkets price feeds. Basically, when the US market closes, you will still get to trade Tesla or all the favorite stocks on chain. So we've
Do
been
we have
working on
that already? Does Puth already offer
no,
that? Not
no.
yet. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. It's a tough one. You need futures that are 24. Yeah,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Well, if you know anything about the Flash Trade team, if Pith is offering it, then they would also be offering it.
Obviously, because we've closed very closely with Pet to build what we have right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
both of us know very well of how the mechanics work for either sides. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Anas, thank you so much for your time this week. Of course, we're going to have you back on. We're very excited to have Flash Trade to be a part of the Soul Brothers family. And honestly, you're doing one thing for us is we actually do get quite a bit of inbound interest to work with folks. But we only say yes to the people who we feel like we can actually show their products, because nothing is worse than committing to showing someone's product and being like, oh crap, this sucks.
Yeah, we don't.
So
do
there's
that
actually
here.
quite a few substantive things to talk about over at Flash Trade. So very excited to be partnering with you, and thank you so much for your time and energy.
Thanks for
Thanks, Anas.
letting me join this interesting podcast.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You have a good one. Enjoy your time in India, and we'll see you at the next one.
See you at the next one, my friend.
Cool. Thank you guys for listening. See ya.